Hey, I'm Dixon Smith, MRO Manager at ES&E, and I'm here with Rick Kleinau with Fluke. We're looking at the pocket thermal imager today. Rick, tell us a little bit about this imager and how it works.
Well, the model number is PTi120, and we call it the pocket imager because it fits in your pocket.
Okay.
Most of our thermal imagers are considered a shared resource. They're either owned by the reliability group or it's something that everybody in the shop is going to share because of the cost.
Right.
The idea here is that it's a thermal imager that's more like a voltmeter. It's a personal tool. Everybody can have one. The price is under $1,000.
Okay.
It's pretty robust, comes in a nice strong case. But it's really, it's a sweet little camera. If you, is it turned on?
It's turned on.
Okay.
It's powered up.
First thing, when it powers up, it'll give you a little message about swiping your finger across the display. If you run your finger to the right or the left, you'll see that it actually has two cameras. You've got a standard camera like a cell phone camera, and then the thermal imaging lens is there. So these two images are on top of one another. You can, by swiping your finger back and forth, what we call fusion, you can show more infrared or more of the visual camera.
Right.
That's helpful when you're just looking at things in the field of view just to help you figure out what you're looking at, which is sometimes tricky in the infrared world. But also, when you save an image, you can separate those two pictures and put them side by side.
Okay.
So I get a regular photograph of, say, an electrical panel and then the infrared.
Right.
Just using it simple. You look at the screen, you'll see the digital readout at the top. That is the center point temperature that's always on.
Okay.
That is the temperature for the little circle, the marker right in the center of the screen, center point temperature.
Right.
So if you want to know a temperature, point at your target, you get a digital readout.
Okay.
Now this is a fully radiometric camera. That is, every pixel on the screen has a number, a temperature reading behind it. So the camera knows the temperature at every point on the screen, right?
Okay.
If you look on the far right-hand side, you see the color display there, the color scale.
Yeah, I see a 71 at the top and a 65 at the bottom.
And it's automatically controlling that scale.
Okay.
And this is like a paint-by-numbers art kit, right? I think the way you're set up now, red is hot, blue is cold. So the pixels, the temperatures that are closer to your upper range, the 71, will be very red. The ones that are cooler will be blue or yellow-green, somewhere in between.
Okay.
Right?
So what are some other functions of this camera?
Well, one important feature is easy. You see the button on the top, the rectangular button there. Push that button. And what you've done now is frozen the image. You haven't really saved anything.
Right.
But I think you have an option there to edit, so push the edit button.
Okay.
And now you've got an option just to add a note.
Add a note, so we can add a note. And we've got a light here that we've been taking some pictures of. So we got light. I can save that.
Yeah.
And that'll save it under light. Okay.
So now we can transfer that to a tablet or smartphone, goes to the cloud. I can create that report where I separate the two images, put notes with it.
Okay.
Or I can just email somebody the image and say, hey, you better come look at this.
Right.
So the idea is just an everyday tool, a very powerful little instrument for troubleshooting day-to-day problems. You can mess with the display. If you just tap the center, it's a touch sense screen. You get a menu at the top.
Yeah, I see that.
If you don't like the color palette where red is hot, blue is cold, you'll see a little icon that shows a color palette. You can change your color scheme.
Change that.
That doesn't change anything, just the color scheme.
Okay.
If you want to add more markers on the screen, in the menu, just kind of middle right, you'll see the marker icon. It pulls up the marker
It looks like a bullseye.
Yeah, a little bullseye.
Okay.
And then just right at the top choice, it says spot temps. Turn on your spot temps.
Okay.
Now you'll see two more readings at the top.
Yeah, I see.
One is min, one's max.
Min, max.
And you got the digital readings there.
Yeah.
And there's also little cursors floating around the screen to show you the maximum, the highest temperature, and the minimum, the lowest temperature.
Right.
You know, if I put my hand down here on the table, is that a good spot? Can you see it there?
Yes, sir.
That'll run
That's
your
good.
temperature span up on the right on the color scale. And also it'll put a marker somewhere on my hand, wherever the highest point is.
Wow, you can still see your handprint. Why does it do that?
That's the sensitivity. My hand has changed the temperature of the surface of the table just enough that we can pick it up here with the camera.
Wow.
You can probably look at that for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's starting to slowly disappear.
It's small, relatively inexpensive, but you know, a camera with this capability, 10 years ago would have cost many thousands of dollars. So,
Yes.
well, that's the kind of the nickel tour of this guy.
Well, thank you for being here today, Rick. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.